Most of the items in the exam outline have been covered already in another context. The first rule of testing is that you can't test everything, so you need to make some decisions. Unit testing focuses on individual functional units, for example, exercising an API. In some development environments, it's common for the original software developer to provide a testing application that exercises the API and validates that it's working as expected. Integration testing has to do with putting parts together and testing them as an assembly. Sometimes the individual parts can pass unit test because each is working as designed, but when the units are assembled, they may not be compatible. You can also discover timing issues called race conditions during integration testing. One good piece of advice is to create a launch checklist. In this example, there are dependencies, capacity, single points of failure, security and access, and a phased rollout plan. With all those items to be checked, and some of them being very complex, it's easy to see the value of using an organized approach to ensuring that everything's ready. General advice about release management? Well, automate everything you can. Also, instead of creating a process with a resource bottleneck which can slow down release, consider implementing a self-service approach. Let the lead developers or the product managers perform the release using the tools. Reliability and consistency are the keys to making release work well. Also, implement access control over critical release features and processes. For example, a team lead or a tech lead might be a member of the release group and have special access. When we think about capacity planning for launch, it's common to create a moonshot event, where everything has to come together perfectly at a single moment for the launch to succeed. Consider instead using a phased approach. By launching first to a smaller market, the service can generate feedback and even warn of issues that might not scale in subsequent phases. A classic example of this was when the first Pokemon Go game was launched. It was launched first in Japan. The game was so popular that it had scaling issues because the demand was much greater than the anticipated demand for which the service was designed. Fortunately, launches in Europe, the US, and other locations were separated by a few days. Staging the launch gave the team the time needed to understand the scaling issue and redesign and re-implement the service before its second launch. I'm pretty sure you know this already. There are 3 ways to interact with Google Cloud. First is GCP Console. Second is the tiny virtual machine that's started up inside Console called Cloud Shell. One thing that makes Cloud Shell useful is it's authorized in the project, and it has the Cloud SDK tools, including gcloud, gsutil, and BQ installed. You can also install the Cloud SDK outside of Google Cloud on a local computer or VM.